him and talking about him. I can't stop talking about him, the man that I adore. I can't stop talking about him and talking about him and talking about him. I can't stop talking about him, and though I seem a bore, I simply can't stop telling about him and yelling about him and telling about him. I can't stop hovering over the moment that we met. He had a pinstripe. What do you call it? A beautiful smile and a barrel of money. I can't stop talking about it yet. He kissed me on a bow and all. A whistle went, ooh, trap door. I slipped right through. And now I can't stop talking about him and talking about him and talking about him. And if he was yours, well, neither would you. I can't stop talking about him and talking about him and talking about him. Well, I won't stop talking about him and talking about him and talking about him. I can't stop talking about him and talking about him and talking about him. I can't stop talking about him, the man that I adore. No, I can't stop talking about him and talking about him and talking about him. I can't stop talking about him, and now I see my powers. I can't stop telling about him and yelling about him and telling about him. I can't stop hovering over the moment that we met. He had a pinstripe. What do you call it? Beautiful smile and barrel of money. I can't stop talking about him yet. He kissed me on a bow and fall. A whistle went, ooh, a trap door open and I slipped right through. And now I can't stop talking about him and talking about him and talking about him. And if it was yours, well, would you stop talking about him and talking about him and talking about him and talking about him until your face turned blue? I'm talking about him and talking about him and talking about him and talking about him more day through. Ladies and gentlemen, at the piano, Mr. Joe Hood. It's interesting. Some people love musical theater, some people do not love musical theater, and some people, I've found, have never thought about musical theater. Not once in their entire lives. I forgive them. My name is Allison Bryan, and I'm here today because I'm a storyteller. I mean, I'm a singer, but to me they're the same thing. And another word for storyteller is liar. Sorry, I hate that word. In my family growing up, we weren't even allowed to ever call anyone a liar. I can still hear a chorus of tiny voices from my childhood. He who calls his brother liar is in danger of the burning fire. Sound familiar? Anyone? Eh? So you didn't grow up in a family of 7 children and you've never thought about musical theater? People. Of course, storyteller can mean liar, but it can also mean the exact opposite. And what I learned when I went to school and trained in the technical skills required for theatrically viable storytelling, what I learned is that the very best stories involve truth. In a college singing class, I was once told by my teacher, Gail, "Allison, no one wants to hear you sing. They want you to tell a story." Or in other words, as I now say to my students, don't hide behind the pretty notes. I don't want a musical experience. I want an emotional experience. But how do you get there? How do you create an emotional experience? How do you get people to feel something? How do you communicate and connect in meaningful ways? How do you do it? You do it by telling the truth. It's been said that the shortest distance between a human being and the truth is a story. So here's a little story for you. When I was a young adult, I was cast in a university production of Evita, which is a musical story about the life of Eva Perón, Argentina's former First Lady. Help me out, Joe. Perhaps you know it. You do know it. Yes. You have thought about musical theater. I knew it. So in preparation, I watched actual video footage so that I could look just like Eva Perón, clearly. I rehearsed all of the super high belting songs so that I could sing and sound just right, but more than somehow getting it right, I wanted to make it real. The problem was I just couldn't relate to this character. We had nothing in common. I had never been a radio star. I had never been a political figure. I had never been a politician. I had never been married. I had never traveled the world. I'd never had cancer. So I dug deep, searching for anything to connect me to this complicated woman's story, trying desperately to find some common ground. And after a lot of study and a bit of navel gazing, I discovered that yes, we did indeed share certain setbacks and conflicts and inner strength. But the great epiphany for me was that the quantum leap to a genuine performance was not so much about being Eva Peron as it was about being me. When I brought my own authentic, real self to the work, then the story became true. I was unique. Just like this 20th century icon was unique, just like each of you is unique. I bang my own drum in life. I deal my own deck. So rather than the sham of trying to be someone else, and remembering that in fact, no one really wanted to hear me sing, thank you, Gail, I decided to show myself and tried to communicate with every song and every story, every scene, that this woman's story was somehow my story. I am what I am, and I'm trying to tell this story as truthfully as I can, and it's a little scary, but I'm doing the best I can. And this is all I've got in any case. And that seismic shift in perspective helped me understand, for the first time really, that what I was studying as an actor was not the fine art of pretend. It was the fine art of being real, of revealing myself, the hardest character of all to play, honestly, and being fully present and vulnerable and truthful in front of an audience. So now you're asking yourself, what does storytelling and authenticity have to do with your profession, and what on earth you might have in common with a theater singer? But aren't we all on stage every day? We're certainly on stage when we put on a uniform, or a name tag, or a title, director, manager, CEO. We're on stage in meetings. We're on stage on the phone, at the front desk. And happily, hopefully, we have some good off-stage time too, right? At home in our bathrobe, on holiday with the family, out to dinner with friends. And in every interaction, in every role, if you will, meaningful connections happen when we are authentic, honest, fully present, and real. It would be so much easier to just pretend on stage and in life. But it's much more courageous and compelling and ultimately healing when we put our story out there with all the integrity that we can muster and say, hey world, this is who I really am, warts and all, no excuses. Come take a look. My friends, we are all storytellers, and our stories connect us. Life is a beautiful mystery, and once you've lived, even a little, you have something to say about the human condition. You have a story to tell, so tell it, share it, shout it, if you must. But dare to be authentic. Because the wonderful thing about your story is that there is no right or wrong. There is only true. Oh, and another thing. No one wants to hear you sing. And another thing. Hydrate. I am what I am. I am my own special creation. So come, take a look. Give me the hook or the ovation. It's my world that I want to have a little pride in. My world, and it's not a place I have to hide in. Life's not worth a damn till you can say, hey world, I am what I am. I am what I am. I don't want praise, I don't want pity. I bang my own drum. Some think it's noise, I think it's pretty. And so what if I love each sparkle and each spangle? Why not try to see things from a different angle? Your life is a sham till you can shout out loud, I am what I am. I am what I am, and what I am needs no excuses. I deal my own deck, sometimes the ace, sometimes the deuces. There's one life, and there's no return and no deposit. One life, so it's time to open up your closet. Life's not worth a damn.